A Republican senator is now warning his party that if they go forward with massive cuts to food stamps, it'll cost them the majority coming up in the midterms. This is Senator Jim Justice, seen in many of these B-roll pictures with his massive dog. He said, if we don't watch out, people are going to get hurt. People are going to be upset. It's going to be the #1 thing in the nightly news all over the place. And then we could very well awaken to a situation in this country where the majority quickly becomes the minority. And so they're planning these massive, huge cuts to food stamps, which surprised me only because I figured after the previous massive cuts to food stamps, I didn't think there was any funding left to cut, but apparently there was still a little bit. They're getting rid of it, don't worry, they're stamping that out. And so Jim Justice is worried about that. Now, why is he worried? Well, it could be, his past in governance with West Virginia. 16% of the people there were participants in SNAP last year. It's 12% nationally. This is a lot of people. This is millions upon millions of people, millions of families. And he said that the Senate shouldn't try to one-up the House's spending cuts on SNAP. They're cutting up to $300 billion from it. And bear in mind, the better part of $1 trillion on Medicaid as well. There's sort of a through line as to where they're taking money away and where they're giving it. Let's see if people can figure it out. And so one of the ways they're doing this is requiring states to pay 75% of the administration cost for SNAP and 5 to 25% of the actual food aid costs, with states that have higher payment error rates forced to pay more. But don't worry, I'm sure the states will totally pick up the burden. The red states totally won't allow all those people to go hungry. And according to CBO, 3.2 million adults, including 800,000 school-age children, could lose their SNAP benefits as a result of what's in this bill. But Justice has hope that they won't do this. He says the Senate has always been counted on to have real wisdom and take their time and really get it right. But as I mentioned earlier in the show, they did confirm RFK Jr. to head HHS. So maybe the wisdom is in short supply, I don't know. But what do you make about his concern? Do you think they'll dial back the cuts in the Senate version of this bill? Or is he gonna eventually be made to feel okay about their chances in the midterms?
Well, if we had a nickel for every time a Republican in the Senate was concerned, we wouldn't need to have these tax cuts because the budget, the money would already be appropriated and we'd be fine. Look, Jim Justice has not been in the Senate yet for 6 months. It takes a while to learn, especially as a former governor, of the way this body works and how these things happen. And his concern, while perhaps admirable, certainly notable, does not translate to action until it does. And right now, there are Republicans that are airing their grievances with this bill. Tom Tillis in North Carolina is airing his grievances with this bill. But until they're just grievances, or not just grievances or concerns, but no votes or a real restructuring of this bill, that doesn't matter. And those things are not probably going to happen on the issues that are most important, the ones that you just went over, right? That are most important to the American poor. And that's not where their interests lie here. They're talking about corporate taxes. They're talking about the amount of money you can deduct. These are all things that have no interest to most working people in America, the middle class and below. And so it really until there's action on that side, Jim Justice is not going to change a lot of minds. He's a junior senator, even though he's a senior man, and that's not really going to affect the Senate. But all of this grumbling does matter in the types of the way they vote on these things and the types of votes they're going to have on coming through with an approval of this bill. It's not going to be as easy in the Senate as Mike Johnson hoped, and what they're going to get back is not going to be as easy to sell to the farthest right wing in the House. So there's still tough sledding, but it doesn't matter. It's just concern.
Well, as of right now, Josh Hawley, Lisa Murkowski have concerns. So get those nickels out. They say they will not vote for a package with cuts to Medicaid. Now, so that means they're not going to vote for this bill or any bill because the bill is going to have cuts to Medicaid. I don't know if they mean, are they being honest with the word cut, or are they playing the stupid little games that Republicans play with cuts, where they pretend that you can cut $1 trillion, but that was just fraud. That wasn't actually a real cut.
Right. What happens in a lame duck presidency, and Trump's is not as lame duck as it will be until after the midterm elections, but is that you start seeing voices who want to be president, right? It's one of the things that make me think that Donald Trump, the third term stuff is ridiculous because there's so many people within his party who want to be president. And Josh Hawley is among them. And whatever you think of Josh Hawley and his presidency or future or otherwise, doesn't matter. It's what his motivation is here. And his motivation is to stand in the way because it makes him look good as a candidate.
Yeah, could very well be. I'm not like an insider in politics or whatever, but I've always thought like if you don't want to blow up the debt too much, which they totally are going to anyway, and you have like, let's say $1 trillion of Medicaid cuts and $4.5 trillion of giveaways to the wealthy. What if you just didn't do this and then you gave the wealthy $3.5 trillion? But that has not even been a consideration. In the same way that we had the big blow up. Hey, everybody, remember when Donald Trump took the biggest bribe that's ever been given to a human in world history? And then we all just moved on because he deployed the Marines? I never heard anyone on the news say, well, if this is a gift to the Air Force, have it be contingent on he can't take it afterward. I literally never heard anybody in the news say that. It was never a consideration. And in this, it's 4.5 trillion to the wealthy. It's not 4. It's not 3.9. It's 4.5. They're not even going to consider altering that number. It's weird how politics works. But anyway, they should be concerned though, as Representative Ilhan Omar pointed out, using a Quinnipiac poll reported on Fox News, their big, beautiful, stupid bill is at 27% support. That's not a lot. So, I don't know, maybe make a better bill. Maybe just Truth Social posting about how it kicks ass a couple more times isn't actually going to allay people's concerns. But what do I know?
If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.